Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 94th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by Bud White, Jaden.
Who's Bud White again? Wait, which one was Bud? Was that Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe,
Russell
yeah.
Crowe.
Yeah, you got a bit of a mean streak, you know?
Yeah, I think that's fair. If you were to give me and Liam, if you assigned them to us, I think I'm probably more Bud.
Yeah.
I'll beat a woman in a heartbeat, though. That's the only difference.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. But, and if you didn't figure it out, we've got Ed Exley over here. We got Liam.
Oh, okay.
Fitzy.
Okay. I think you can call me Jack.
No,
that's Zach. Yeah, well, that's
yeah.
Or what's his name?
Kevin Spaceship.
Danny DeVito.
Oh, right.
I think I'm more Danny DeVito.
Yeah, no. I thought I should have taken Danny DeVito. I'll take Kevin Spacey. Just I'll take the bullet. You know what I mean?
Liam can take the Irish police captain.
Oh yeah, Dudley.
Irish? Oh, Dudley. Dudley.
He was super Irish.
Yeah.
He said something about all the whiskey in Ireland at one point, I think. I think he did.
I wouldn't trade positions with Ed, actually, for all the whiskey in Ireland. Yeah.
No, definitely not. As I started the intro, Jaden, and I saw you sipping, I was like, I feel like time slowed down for me, where I was like, what do I do here? I can change the order. And then I was like, no, I'm not changing the order. So, which was a bad decision. So then I was like, okay, I'll just try and go a bit slower for him. Still didn't work out. It was still did not work at all. Not enough time. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is LA Confidential, which opened in the US on the 19th of September, 1997. It was directed by Curtis Hanson, who I was not familiar with. I looked at his filmography. And he did the, do you guys remember the film Chasing Mavericks?
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, wow.
That was his last film as well, so that, before he passed. So that was like a wild little connection. Yeah.
Is it like a flying film, like a dog?
No, it's a surfing film.
Oh, okay. Surfing.
It had to be one of the...
Yeah, one of the three.
Yeah, exactly. But I also would have put those two things above surfing. Anyway, it's a crime drama. And the synopsis says, as corruption grows in 1950s Los Angeles, three policemen, one straight-laced, one brutal, one sleazy, investigate a series of murders with their own brand of justice. Jaden, first time viewing LA Confidential, what did you think?
I thought it was really good. I thought there was lots to love and only a little bit to hate. I love the time period. I really do. Like the 50s is... I don't know. I love 50s and 40s shit. I love the music throughout the film. Like the actual, I didn't really take much note of the score, but like the actual music that, just populates the soundscape.
The world.
Yeah. I love the characters. I love the acting. I think like it's three really solid performances from Crowe, Pearce, and Space Dog.
Voldemort.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a film that I really liked, and then it kind of went on a bit much and derailed a bit, but then kind of started to like it again.
Sure. I'll go to Fitzy last because I know he's seen it before, but I really enjoyed the movie. My main takeaway was it made me realize how much I dig these cool character-driven dramas. I mean, it helps it's a period piece too. I like that as well, but just by itself, like it's got a great cast. I think it's based on a book, but this, it's not a franchise film, obviously. It's this cool mystery and crime story. And I don't know, at the time I looked and it was a pretty big success at the time too. It made like, I don't know, 5 times its budget or something. So, and deservedly so, I think it's really good. And it sort of, more than anything, it sort of made me realize, even though I know so many people say this a lot, but for me, I was sort of like, yeah, wow, like, I don't see a movie like this being made today on that budget, you know what I mean? So I sort of appreciated that about it too. I sort of miss these kind of things. Sort of reminds me of a Michael Mann film in that way, despite the LA connection as well. That's an obvious one. But what do you think, Liam?
Yeah, it's super great. I really like it. It's just doubles down on, the noir element, the confusion. Very plot heavy, but like the characters are really central and really like easy to understand. Like the three guys are really well outlined. You understand each one kind of, and just how they all like, come to the same conclusion is really cool. They all come together in the end, and it's just a great movie. It's just great. Yeah.
It is. I mean, that's a good point. Actually, I was like, when jumping into a random moment, when like Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce are beating the shit out of each other, like, understandably so, but I appreciate that they didn't like right afterwards they were on the same page, and we didn't drag out this whole thing where they can't get along or something. Like, they would have been obnoxious to me, but yeah, they were fine. That was good. But I think, I mean, speaking of those, I think a big reason the movie works so well is that its three male leads are just so strong, and I really enjoyed all of them in different ways. I think, like, I don't think I was reading in the trivia, like, Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce at the time weren't really known at all, and it's so funny in retrospect, like, as viewing the film from a modern lens of like going into it, I know these are three A-list actors, you know what I mean? But for everyone watching it at the time, it was like, oh, I know Kevin Spacey, and that's sort of it, you know?
Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Star power, is it?
That's true. But no one had heard of these two other dudes, so it was like, that's interesting. So it's cool watching it with that lens of like, we know how good these people are already anyway, but I really enjoyed their performances. I feel like Ed Exley is the main, if anyone is the main character, I think. I think he has the most definitive arc, and the ending is most definitive for him. And I really enjoyed him. Like, at first, when he's such a dork dude with his goddamn glasses, and and he seems like the straight-laced cop, and he seems like, at the start, I'm like, oh, this guy's going to suck. Like, he's going to be the villain. He's going to be a pain in the ass. And I really enjoyed his arc in the movie and where it went a lot. And I think Guy Pearce was really good. I don't know. I haven't seen Guy Pearce in a lot, but I really liked him. He was probably my favorite of the three. Liam, do you have a favorite? And you're allowed to say Kevin Spacey, just so you know. do you think one's stronger than the other in
I think
when comparing them or anything?
Guy Pearce is the best because he has the hardest role to sell, because like Kevin Spacey is kind of playing somewhat usual. Kevin Spacey role is just kind of sleazy, and like there are comparisons you make to like the Baby Driver guy, like that bust guy.
Oh yeah.
And Guy Pearce, I mean, what's his name? Russell Crowe is really great, but like Ed actually plays like a really morally like self-righteous, justice-driven character, which is kind of really hard to sell usually. And like, I think because the movie is so confusing, it helps, that to get you on his side, because you're like, okay, let's just figure things out and like, get rid of the corruption or whatever. But like you come to like him as you realize that he is a good guy. He's not doing it just for himself or whatever, just to fuck over other people. So yeah, he's really great.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked how from the start it's really clear that I love the themes of the film in terms of the way in which it portrays the LA Police Department, and I guess just law enforcement in general, as being this sort of like, I don't know, toxic boys club, I guess, in a way. And I really like from the start they sort of position Ed as being sort of the outsider to that, and having to navigate that world and trying and challenge it in his own way. And I think the film does a really good job of, right from the start, like putting him in that position. And I mean, all the times that like everyone can't stand him, but it all ends up coming together for him in the end. What about you, Jaden? Did you like Ed Exley the most, or Russell Crowe? Or?
Yeah. Like, it's the same answer you do with Mr. Pearce. I think it's just because it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just a thing of like, I can't dissociate the character with the actor in this case. Like, like Russell Crowe had a stellar performance, but like I just don't like some of the character stuff, and that's why it kind of holds me back. I don't know. And Kevin Spacey did fantastic, but it was just a tad more minor than the other two. So like, when I look at it, I see kind of Guy Pearce as the front man and kind of as the strongest one.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I was not. I was not. I was not expecting Kevin Spacey to die when he did at all. I actually, yeah, because in that
Oh
moment,
yeah.
he sort of revealed himself to be like. Before that, there was sort of all three of them were on the same level in terms of importance. I felt, and then from that moment onwards, it sort of became the film started to reveal like who the real focus is. From that point, I
Mm.
think, because I watched the film over 2 nights, and no exaggeration, just by coincidence, I'd paused the film, and then when I came back to it and hit play, literally within 3 seconds of me hitting play, Kevin Spacey gets shot, and I was like, "This was terrible timing." So I was like flabbergasted by that, but it was really cool. In terms of character choices that you didn't like with Russell Crowe, though, Jane, has it got anything to do with him hitting his girlfriend?
Yeah. It's like the fucking stupidest thing when you have this your self-righteous character whose like only trait is protecting women, defending women. You know, he's this hard ass that's he can do anything but this, and then he goes and assaults his girlfriend. I mean, it's just like a really stupid character decision, and and they'll say, "Oh, it's justified for the character because of this and that and that." And it shows him at a breaking point, and kind of this and what, but I don't like it. It's like my main downfall with his character, and actually quite a significant part. I don't know. I feel like it actually took me out a lot, but yeah.
How did you feel about it, Fitzy? Because I think I liked it. I understand Jane's perspective, but it's sort of, I don't know, to me, it's sort of, I don't know if I'm sounding, I don't want to sound pretentious, but it sort of shows the hypocrisy of all this, and I thought it was, like, it was clear that, to me in the performance, that he really understood how out of character that was for him, you know what I mean?
No, I don't like it either. I'm kind of
Okay,
Jane.
cool.
I also don't understand why he was so mad, but maybe he's just a mad guy. I don't know. He's a mad guy.
Just
That's
named
true.
fella.
He's just an angry boy. Yeah, I mean, does he not understand? I mean, I understand the circumstances of her kissing Guy Pearce were a bit different, right? But like, he does understand that she's like a prostitute, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's the fact that he established this rivalry with Ed, and he'd spoken about it to her, and that's why he kind of sees it as a personal betrayal.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, in terms of Kevin Spacey, like, I agree with you guys that he's just doing Kevin Spacey for the most part. Or, I mean, I don't want to undersell it, but I really enjoyed it. Like, him just playing this sleazy, like, corrupt cop but he's got tons of charisma. Like, Kevin he's just super charismatic. He's got tons of confidence on screen. Like, that scene where I think him and Guy Pearce, I think they run into a garage and they meet up with the other cops, and they're like, there's a bit of tension there. Like, that whole scene, Kevin Spacey was just like captivating on screen. I really enjoyed him. But one thing, I can't decide if I like Danny DeVito in this movie or not, to be totally honest. He just feels he feels out of place, sort of, but I don't know. Like, his VO at the start was, like, I don't know what direction he was given. It was sort of like over the top, but I don't know. Maybe I guess it was sort of trying to replicate that sort of 50s, like, idealistic view, you know what I mean? Or portrayal of LA, that, this amazing city at the time, which is obviously thematically relevant with it being in contrast to what we understand the police force to be. But I don't know. I don't know if Danny DeVito, every time he turned up, I was still sort of like, this is kind of weird in this movie. Like, I kept thinking, like, are you playing your character from Step Brothers or something? You know what I mean? Is that what that movie's called? With the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger? What's that movie called?
Oh, Twins.
Twins, shit. Well, I don't know what Step Brothers is, but is that a
Step
Will
Brothers
Ferrell
is-
movie?
Yeah, Will Ferrell.
Oh, okay. In Twins, I'm sorry. But anyway, I don't know if did you guys, how'd you feel about Danny DeVito?
I don't know. I think he fits into the landscape. It's Kevin Spacey's buddy. It's kind of funny that he's like, like one of the three. Like, he's in on the deal between Pearce and what's his name? It's the Irish guy's name.
Dudley.
Yeah. He's like he's like the mastermind behind. He's one of the masterminds. No, but I like him. I don't know. I actually don't think I've seen him in much, honestly. Like DeVito, and he's very boisterous, and I don't know, he's fun, I guess. In this, it's very loud. Yeah.
He's very loud. There's no doubt about it. We were watching. I don't think my brother's ever seen Danny DeVito in anything, and he asked me, "Is that man like clinically a little person? You know what I mean? Is he does he have dwarfism of some sort? You know?" And I was like, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he's not. But it was. I mean, I guess that's everyone knows this about Danny DeVito, and it's funny how short he is. Like, no offense, Danny DeVito.
Funny how short he is. Wow.
It's so funny how short he is. I don't think he's ever heard that before, Jade. I don't think he's aware how short he is.
Mm.
I mean, yeah. What else have I got here? A minor. I mean, in terms of the plot, Fitzy already mentioned it was confusing, and it isn't and isn't for me. The details of it are confusing, and they still are. Like, dude, I don't know. Like when at the end when Guy Pearce explained the whole thing just to the audience so they understand, I was still sort of like, yeah, I don't really remember. Like, he's saying a lot of names right now, and I don't really remember who that guy was or whatever. But like that part of it is confusing. But like when he's talking about, I don't know, like they were at the whole inciting incident of the cafe murder. And he's talking about someone was there to plant heroin and frame, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But the gist of it is pretty simple, and it is pretty it becomes evident. You get everything you need to understand as soon as Dudley shoots Kevin Spacey. It's like, oh yeah, I get it. Cool. It's been Dudley the whole time. He's a corrupt cop. He's manipulating the whole situation. And that's sort of that's all you really need to understand about what's happening. You know what I mean? So in that sense, I don't really mind it as much. But yeah, I mean, that scene at the end was kind of egregious. You know what I mean? Egregious, like exposition stuff.
Oh, like him explaining the interrogation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But also, yeah, I feel like the film sort of maybe needed it. I don't know. It was it was an interesting choice. But in terms of the plot, I think a minor criticism I have is that the characters, and stories often suffer from this when you're following characters from multiple perspectives, but a minor criticism I have is that the characters are often chasing information, and this just undercuts the mystery. They're chasing information and learning stuff that the audience already knows because we learnt it through one of the other characters' perspectives. And I think that's sort of just a weakness of this structure. So like when you had like Kevin Spacey, when he learnt who the body under the house was, and he learned it was Buzz, was that his name? The other old cop guy. And when Kevin Spacey learns that, it's not significant because we the audience already knows it. And the film does this multiple times where it's like, okay, like the mystery here isn't super compelling by itself. You know what I mean? Like we know oh god, what's her goddamn name? Russell Crowe's girlfriend. I don't know. Veronica Lake lookalike, yeah. Woman on the poster, whatever her name was. The movie sort of made a big deal about like why are you seeing Russell Crowe? Why are you going out with this guy? And it was like a big thing when she told Ed, I think it was, that I'm seeing him because I like him. Full stop. But it's like, yeah, but the audience knows that half an hour ago because we saw their relationship develop. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a nitpick or not, but it was certainly something that stood out to me when I was like trying to like really uncover what's happening here. And I was like, yeah, but this isn't as compelling. I think it's the film's biggest weakness from a structural perspective, personally.
No, I mean, I get that, I guess. Well, also, like, you don't really know. Like, did you guys think of it as a mystery? Because, like, you don't know what you're looking for, kind of. Really,
that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. I sort of positioned it as such because I mean I feel like to an extent it does become a mystery in the second half. I think, and IMDb also has it as a mystery, which I don't know. That's fair. Like the film, if you think about it, and the plot and everything, the story doesn't really present itself super early. I think the murders in the Night Owl, which is the whole mystery of the film, if there is one, I think that happens like 40 minutes into the movie or something.
I actually disagree that that's the mystery one. I think the real mystery is established at the pretty early on, and when they're talking about the gangster that goes down and he's missing heroin, like that's the real mystery, and then it kind of gets buried by the night owl. So kind of like the mystery kind of disappears for a bit, but then once the night owl's quote unquote resolved, because it's not really resolved, that's when it comes back into it.
Right. That went completely over my head. Totally. Like, yeah, there was, for me, I was like taking and interpreting the first 40 minutes as just sort of character setup and stuff. But yeah, I guess they did drop that in there.
Because like the night owl, like it's all very structured in like, and it all happens very as it's meant to be, like as it was all created by Dudley, like the planting of evidence, the finding of the people, the release of them, and then the subsequent killing of them. It's all true planned to be a mystery, to be the mysterious part of the movie. So it's actually like, yeah.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Talking about Kevin Spacey's death, though.
Oh yeah.
The reason I watched this movie in the first place was,
I wanted to see Kevin Spacey get shot.
Well, pretty much. So there was a GIF. There's like a GIF of Kevin Spacey saying "Rollo Tomasi," and I like saw that. I was like, "Oh shit! Is this like a spoiler? I've got to like watch the film now because like I don't want this. I don't want to think as you know what I mean. When you see something that's like a spoiler, so you just want to get it over with. You just want to watch something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I watched it and I was thinking like, who is like Rollo Tomasi? But then there is no one in the film called Rollo Tomasi. That's just the thing in Guy Pearce's, that's the thing he made up. So thankfully I wasn't really spoiled. But yeah, that moment was kind of the reason I watched it. And then like twist there, like when Dudley tells, when he tells Ed who is Rollo Tomasi, that's when Ed figures out it's the Dudley, because Dudley's the only one that he only told Jack about it, so he figures out that Dudley's behind it, and then his eyes widen. But yeah, that moment is the reason I watched it. So I think it's really it's a great twist. Like it's one of the best twists I've seen. Like the way that's executed in he tells him, and then he goes back. It's like a circle or a triangle or something.
Right.
It's
a triangle. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like a really well executed twist, I guess, or reveal, sequence of information reveal, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
I think that one works because you were talking earlier about how the multiple things kind of detracts from the mystery, or kind of the getting information at multiple points is kind of weakens it. But I think in that sense it's really strong in that it just builds dread for when the next character is going to find out and what's going to kind of happen in that instance. Because
that's fair. Yeah.
So when we found out through Jack's perspective, when Ed was going to find out, it was just kind of this constant rising kind of tension type thing. And so I thought that was quite effective, and I thought the structure really complemented that.
I think it's also it's kind of unsatisfying when what's Russell Crowe? Bud and Ed are looking at the Night Owl files at different times, but then they just come together in the end in one moment where they just talk. They're literally fighting about the girl, and then they just figure everything out basically, which is really cool. And then they just they together and they get on with it kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great scene when Dudley framed the whole interrogation of Danny DeVito, so Russell Crowe would storm out and find the photos.
Yeah.
That was a great scene. I like that a lot. I mean, I think the film actually overall, what makes it so great in my opinion is how good individual scenes are and how they're really memorable.
It's individual moments that are really great in the film.
Yeah, no, absolutely. At the end of the day, I don't know if the story's pretty simple. Dudley is a dickhead and, we beat him. Hooray. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's the moments and the way in which the moments are executed and the way they enforce the film's themes, I think. There's that scene where Russell Crowe, he's storming into the house and he shoots that man, right? And then he immediately, without hesitation, starts positioning the scene to make it look like
Yeah, like
he gets
he's
shot
used
first.
to it. Yeah, he's done it before. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like this is what he does. Like his job description is like manipulate crime scenes. You know what I mean? And like that moment was impactful in that like there wasn't any dialogue, I don't think. He just straight up murdered this man and immediately like started flipping the scene with like seemingly like this is a huge deal for him. Like this has never happened before. Exactly. It's like this is just another Tuesday where, justice can't and any sort of law enforcement doing their role in any moral way is nowhere to be found in this city. So that was a really good scene. And the other one was, I mean, I think all the action's pretty good when Guy Pearce gets the gun in the elevator.
Oh yeah.
And that just sucked as well because he got all the credit for that one, and he just like murdered innocent people essentially. Or I think they were drug dealers or something, but not for what they were there for.
Well, they weren't innocent, but yeah, they weren't the perpetrators of the night owl case. Yeah.
Sorry, with the scene where like the setup for Danny DeVito, like where like they're beating shit out of Danny DeVito.
Oh yeah.
Was because he makes reference about like he took photos of a police officer with the Veronica Lake woman. Was that not meant to be Russell Crowe, but then he just happened to get Guy Pearce? And was that not meant to blackmail Russell Crowe's character, but then it kind of got ruined because he got Guy Pearce, and then like it kind of derailed that? Or was that kind of the intention?
I don't recall. So was he just meant to take the photo with anyone that's not Russell Crowe? Yeah, actually, yeah. So what was Danny DeVito, what was his intention with going there with the camera?
Well, I think, so Pearce called him to take the photos. I thought Ed was going over there.
He knew Ed was going there?
Isn't
Dudley
it? Not Dudley, Pearce. Was it after Pearce? Was it after he like went to Pearce's house or something?
Wait, is Pearce Guy Pearce? Or is there a character named Pearce?
Oh no, there's literally no. I'm not talking about Guy Pearce. I'm talking about Pearce Patrick.
Shit. Who's
that? Yeah.
The Born Ultimatum guy, David. Something.
Oh right, yeah. The rich dude. Yeah. Cool. Got it. Okay. So then I guess the assumption is that he just.
I think Pearce knew somehow, and then he just called Mr. DeVito.
Okay, because the thing is Dudley says when Russell Crowe drives off, he's like, I don't want, he says the line about the whiskey in Ireland and about not wanting to be Ed, actually. So it implies that he knew that it would be Ed, but I don't know how he knew that it would be Ed in those photos.
Yeah,
he would know if Pearce or if Pearce Patrick or that DeVito told him, I guess.
DeVito doesn't know who it was though.
He took the photos. But
he doesn't know what policeman it was. Because he just says some police.
Oh, he probably does. Because he's like one of the three, That's what's like.
Okay, I guess, yeah.
There's enough like looseness where it's like, it works, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. My mind has been blown that Pearce and Ed are different people now. Like that's not
Patrick.
the same.
Patrick.
Patrick, yeah. Was Pearce his first name, or is that the actor's name?
No, that's his first name in the movie. Yes, his real name is David Stratham, I think. Yeah,
not Jason Statham. David Stratham.
David Stratham, the villain in Born Ultimatum.
Yeah, he's great in that movie. And wait, isn't he the guy from Nomadland?
Nomadland, yeah, that's him.
Okay, cool. All right.
Is Ultimatum the second one or the first one? Oh, the third one. The third one.
Not Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Oh man. Jan mentioned the music earlier. I actually quite liked the score in the film. It wasn't like in the first half. Did I just say the first half? Holy shit. In the first half, it was pretty non-existent, to be honest. Like, I sort of took note multiple times of, wow, these scenes I'm watching here have no score. There's nothing. And scenes where I sort of would think there would be, not like just random, just conversations, but like often, I don't know, scenes with a bit more going on. I thought there might be score and there just wasn't, which was interesting. But when it sort of kicks up into high gear, I did really like it. It felt like a film. It felt like a 90s film, and I guess in that sense, like it's not doing anything crazy, but I sort of enjoyed it. It felt of its era, and it reminded me of other sort of, I don't know, sort of reminded me of Michael Mann films and other sort of crime 90s crime films. So I quite enjoyed it actually.
Well, is that not one of the things that Curtis Hanson said? Like, he doesn't want. He kind of held back on the noir elements because he didn't want the film to feel that old, or like he don't want the film to feel nostalgic. So he held back on some of the elements. He still wanted it to be like an identifiable LA, but like it's obviously still within like the 50s time period. It's like he held back like quite a bit on like kind of like the 50s iconography, I guess.
That's interesting, and I think he succeeded because the film definitely feels like it actually had a moment for me where I didn't. I mean, I feel dumb in retrospect because it's literally what the first minute of the film is literally telling me, but I didn't really connect what the time period was until 15 minutes in when I started seeing the like the cars and stuff. And I think they're using typewriters and things like that. They're like finally in the police station. So for me, it's like, oh, okay, this isn't a 90s film. But up until that point, it did feel like a 90s film. I mean a film set in the 90s. So I think he sort of nailed that actually, because I agree, it doesn't really feel noir too much.
I think it's like it's super noir in terms of like the plot and like certain elements, but like the style is like completely not noir. There's not like cigarette smoke everywhere, and like I guess there is a femme fatale, but there's not like it doesn't feel that like your traditional image of what it would be like. It's very normally shot, I guess. There's no special stuff going on.
Totally, yeah, and I think if that's the intention, he nailed it, and I like that about it. It makes it feel. I mean, at the time he's talking about it, he doesn't want it to feel nostalgic. For me, watching it in 2022, it makes it feel. I don't know if timeless might be a strong word, but I guess timeless, or if it doesn't feel dated, in its style. I mean,
I don't think you can feel. Yeah. Okay.
You don't think you can feel?
No, don't worry.
No, but I'm interested. Is this like a philosophical thing you're going to tackle? Like, you don't.
Well, I was going to say, I don't really think you can feel. If it can have the sense of timelessness when it's so embedded in this time period, like it goes. Because well, it's not nostalgic, but it's evidently the 50s. So like I was going to say, it can't feel timeless in that sense, but I think as a product, it can feel timeless. It's just that it's not a product that can be applied to any time. It's there's kind of two ways of looking at timeless, I guess, in that sense of, is the product itself timeless, or is like the product environment timeless?
No, that makes sense.
I think it's like it's less. It doesn't feel dated because there's no style that can be dated because it doesn't have much of a style. Like if it was fully noir, then maybe it would feel that way a bit if those elements were dodgy, I guess.
That's true. Yeah. But it's weird. I don't want to sound like I'm playing 4D chess or sound like I'm some sort of scholar or something. But like the for me, sort of vaguely, the way in which the film has no style is sort of a style. I don't know. Like you say the film has no style, and I agree, but I also like just
it doesn't have no style, but it's like it's not noir,
No, definitely not. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't feel like it has an identifiable style, but it has style.
Yeah, because like
it has heart.
I mean, there is some good camera work. Like when Ed and Bud like confront each other on the street, it follows Bud and like zooms in. So while he's like walking down, you see Dudley like following the camera in the background. So like there's some technical skill there in the camera work.
Yeah, absolutely. I really liked, it was a very, very small thing, but when I liked the whole final shootout actually, but when Dudley and Bud meet for the final shootout, and they both, I mean,
Ed and Bud. Yeah.
What did I say?
Dudley.
When Ed and Bud meet for the final shootout, I mean, yeah, I feel like it's sort of obvious that they didn't call each other there. It's a trap, big time. But anyway, I really liked when they come to this realization out at nighttime, and you sort of just see like from behind the building, like other lights turn up, and it's like, oh, we know like someone else is here and we're screwed now. Like I quite enjoyed that actually. But just that whole final shootout was cool. Like in terms of character conflict and everything. And I mean, I just thought the gun action was pretty solid actually. But in terms of character conflict, I really like how it all makes sense. It comes down to Dudley and Exley. I'm using them correctly. It all comes down to that confrontation between them, sort of mirroring the differences in their characters, the conversation they had at the very start of the film, and it all sort of comes back to that. And the choice for like that whole dynamic of, Guy Pearce has him and, are you going to kill me? Are you going to shoot me? You're not going to shoot me because you're the good cop sort of deal. I know, you're going to take me into custody. And that character choice for Guy Pearce to then shoot him after, like, he does the whole bullshit of, like, make sure to put up your badge because you're a cop. And then he proceeds to do that. Like, in that was a great little moment where Guy Pearce was going to arrest him. And then he does that. And in that moment, Guy Pearce realizes, oh, shit, like, he's going to get away with this. If I don't act now, like, this corruption's going to continue forever. So I'm just and that was a great little moment, I thought. And it makes perfect sense for that to be the trigger, and then he shoots him. And I thought that was really neat. And then from that, of course, like, I really just enjoy where that takes Guy Pearce as a character to where he is a believer in justice. He tries to, uphold his father's legacy. But at the same time, he, through this film and through his choices, sort of become aware of the fact that he has to navigate the corruption and, the system isn't going to change overnight. So that's sort of why, at the end he accepts the medal or whatever it was, the honor. And he sort of says, they're playing me, I'm playing them. Like he understands the situation he's in, and he's going to try and do the most good he can in the situation, and that makes perfect sense to me. It's not like I'm going to quit the force or something. Like he to make people's lives better and do what he needs to do, he sort of needs to navigate the grey, navigate the moral ambiguity of this police force that he's a part of, So I thought that was all really strong character stuff for him. I sort of went right through to the end, but did you guys like the actual shootout though at the end?
Shootout's okay. There's nothing. The whole last 10-15 minutes isn't anything great, I think. It kind of fizzles out a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But like that moment with Dolly and him is good. Because Dolly's offering to, give him a promotion or whatever, or help him out. But then he's considering it, and then I think he looks at Ed. Oh, not Ed, Bud, and he gets like a bullet in his mouth. He got like a bullet to the face. Oh, he's like lying on the ground, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll shoot him."
Whenever someone gets shot through the cheek, they're not dead.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. Yeah. That actually felt kind of weird when. Why was Guy? So wait, Ed's now with the Veronica Lakes lookalike? Are there a couple?
Oh, Bud.
Yeah, Bud.
No, Ed.
No, Bud. She drives away with Bud at the end.
Does she?
Yeah, she's like she says, She
was like holding hands with Ed though.
I mean, that was just because like a sign of friendship. Boys and girls can have platonic friendships.
What?
She said at the end, or Ed's or one of them says, I get to be a decorated police officer, and he gets to go off with the ex-hooker to Arizona.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and then Guy Pearce stands there, and that's the end.
Yeah,
and they drive off. Right. So in my head, Guy Pearce was in the car. Yeah, that's dumb. Okay. No. Right. Yeah, I think the whole thing just confused me when they started holding hands, and I'm like, wait, what? Because I was like, wait, so Russell Crowe's dead, and now you're holding hands, but that all makes sense. It all makes sense. That's a terrible wound, though. Can you imagine getting? I got some trivia here.
Yay!
Yippee! When promoting his program, The Loudest Voice on the Howard Stern Show, I probably should have cut that out. Russell Crowe said this was one of two films where he wishes there was a sequel, as he liked playing the character. The other film was The Nice Guys. And reading that trivia just made me go, make the Nice Guys sequel. You know what I mean? This film, it's fine. We don't need a sequel to this film. Make a sequel to The Nice Guys, please. Yeah. Sorry, this is it. James Elroy who I believe is the author of the book, describes the character of Bud White as the biggest cop in the Los Angeles force, noting that he wasn't even 6 foot. Yeah, that's right. Russell Crowe, because that sounded weird, because I'm like, wait, is he meant to be tall or not? Russell Crowe decided to move into an apartment so small that he had to duck to get into the doorways and could barely stand up. Crowe said this worked in making him feel like a giant by the time he came to the set to shoot. I think I'd heard that story before as being like an example of like method acting that people throw out there, but so anyway, Russell Crowe was in a small apartment, guys. That was method acting.
Sick.
I thought that was pretty cool, actually. I don't know if that would... I was trying to, like, understand the psychology of that. I feel like that would work. Like, if you're Ian McKellen on the set of Lord of the Rings in those little hobbit holes, like, you probably do feel like a giant. It's probably true. At the time the film takes place, no building in Los Angeles was allowed to be taller than the City Hall, which is insane, by the way, just by itself. So the cameras were placed at certain points so that any building taller than City Hall would not be seen. Staying very authentic to the time period. Very good. Very good. I imagine that's actually probably, if you're shooting on location in like city streets and stuff, that's probably hard. You have to be really careful about where you choose to shoot and stuff, I imagine.
You know, apparently, this was something I said in Heat, but is LA still like the most densely populated like US city? Because that's kind of insane to me, because it feels so like large and like
expansive,
horizontal. You know,
Isn't New York more densely populated?
Like, I would think so.
Because it's got like a lot more verticality to it, right?
Yeah.
I would think so too, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like this film, actually not so much this film, but just a lot of LA films, which we can get into the question, just continue to enforce the idea of LA's a scary place, and it terrifies me.
Oh, LA's very scary. Yeah.
It looks real scary. I don't want to go there.
Have you not gone on Reddit? Every photo of LA is just like Skid Row, like, you know, like where like just like homeless camps like all along the streets, and like it's now like it's now like reached like the beach. What's the beach there? Santa Monica. Is that? Yeah, it's like apparently it's like reached the beach, and it's like reaching a lot of like main streets and stuff. Like apparently it's
we saw like a lot of people. Like we could see like the Hollywood sign where we were. We're like pretty close to it, and there's still homeless people like around there.
Wow. Right.
Yeah. Or like near the Arc Line and stuff, near Sunset.
And it makes me wonder, because like, you know, homelessness down in Australia is really bad, but like they don't seem to be that densely that condensed in one area, you know?
Right.
Like Australia's homeless rate is ridiculous. But then like you look at photos from the US and it kind of seems worse. But I always thought that like Australia had like fucked homeless rates.
It's not that. I mean, I'm not trying to underplay like what it's like to be homeless at all. But like in terms of, you know, the regular experience of walking around the city, it's not like egregious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
It's not good. I'm not saying it's fine, guys. You know, but I feel like that's another level. I don't know. Fitzy can speak to that more than I, obviously.
No, yeah, it definitely feels worse in the US. I agree.
Had we get to homelessness? I don't know. Should we go on that TV show, whatever it's called? The SBS show?
Q&A.
Celebrity homeless.
Q&A? No, the homeless one. The only other thing I wanted to quickly throw in here is that, is the film's poster terrible, yay or nay?
I think it's kind of iconic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Iconic because it's bad?
No, iconic as in like, I don't know iconic why, but I think it is iconic.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of in the middle of it. I don't really think it's either the best or the worst, but
okay.
If I was to assign one way.
I mean, in terms of representing the movie, it's not good, but it looks like it looks like a great poster. Aesthetically.
I can't stand it. I think it's terrible. When I got there on it, when I see it every time, it looks like a bad Photoshop. Like the way, like Kevin Spacey's character is sort of just like put in there, and there's like the weird, stock photo of just Hollywood behind them. I don't know. It looks really bad to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's weird.
I think the colors are really great.
The colors?
Yeah, like
the red font with on the.
Like the red, orange, and black is really nice, and the white.
Yeah, cool. So what would you give the poster out of 10, Liam? Yeah, it's a 2 from me. Anyway, so should we do that for the actual movie, or
Perhaps.
perhaps we should? Liam, what are you giving LA Confidential out of 10?
I still think it's great, but I'll give it a 7 out of 10, just because there are more weaknesses than like the movie has a lot of great moments, and Guy Pearce is like Ed is like easy to follow all the way through, but there are a lot of humps, I guess. So yeah, I'll give it a 7.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I did really enjoy my time with it. Like I said, I love the time period. You know, I love everything to do with the 50s. Well, not everything, because the 50s wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
No,
but I do love the glorified depiction of it. Yeah, and I love and I do quite like this film. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I'll give it an 8 too, I think. I'm sort of on the 7-8 area, but I'll push it up to an 8. Why not? Yeah, I really, really enjoyed the movie, the performances and the characters and all that sort of stuff. And I think more than anything, just I really enjoyed the way it did tackle moral corruption and the corruption of this police department, and like everything it tries to present in that way and present those themes and ideas. I think it really nails all of that. Like it all hits. And I felt like towards every scene where the cops do something sleazy or racist or whatever, like it all was appropriately impactful. So yeah, I liked it a lot. All right, let's get into news chat. We've all now seen the Lord of the Rings Rings of Power teaser trailer. Liam, Galadriel in this thing. What's up?
Galadriel. Yeah, I didn't know she was that was Galadriel, which is surprising. She kind of looks like Kate Blanchett, I guess, but yeah, no, it looks good, I guess. Yeah, the trailer looks good. It looks, like it has a very light aesthetic, like the movies. So
yeah,
hopefully it's good.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's the biggest praise I can give the trailer is that, from the brief glimpses we get, it does look consistent aesthetically with the films and even from a quality perspective as well. What do you think, Jaden?
It's kind of hard to really form an opinion. Like it's
not much at all. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's just an assortment of 3-second clips. Looks big, and I guess that's kind of what you want. As long as I don't get lost in the scale, I guess. But yeah, looks cool for the most part, I guess.
Looks neat.
Neato, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this show for me, like, all I really want from it is that it captures the spirit of the Peter Jackson films in terms of, like visually and just, tonally and all that. But at the same time, like, I hope it has a story as compelling as Game of Thrones in regards to everything we're hearing about the amount of characters and juggling all these different storylines and stuff. Like, I want it to be like that level of captivating, and maybe that's setting high expectations, which I will be cautious about. But if they can sort of jive those two things together, I think I'll be in. But we'll see how it goes, man. What about this Moon Knight teaser?
Honestly, like, completely forgot about it already.
You saw Moon Knight do something. What did he do?
He didn't actually do anything. It was it was Oscar Isaac saying he can't tell what's real and what's his dreams.
Yes.
And I guess he thinks that Moon Knight is his dreams. It looks like there's some pretty wacky shit. He goes to Egypt, I think.
That's cool. I like Egypt a lot.
You see a bit of Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Yeah, is what it is.
Did he have a British accent this time?
I don't remember.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I can't tell what's real and what's my dreams, bruv. Like.
No. When you say it like that, I think it was definitely Yankee. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it was definitely British in the last one, so I don't know what they're doing there. That's actually why I'm most excited about the show, to see what level of accent Oscar Isaac can pull off. We also had the Doctor Strange trailer. This probably should have gone first. This is like the biggest trailer of the week by far. It's like actually a full thing. I only saw it, right? It was only me.
Yeah.
It looks cool. It looks cool. What I was telling Luke was that it's interesting that it sounds dumb, obviously, but I feel like leading into No Way Home, like all the expectations around that film having all the crossovers and connections and, you know, characters reprising their actors reprising their roles and all that sort of stuff, like all of that focus was so on that movie that I feel like everyone, maybe hardcore Marvel fans probably didn't, but me anyway, I sort of forgot that, oh yeah, I guess Doctor Strange is going to do that too, because it's literally also a multiverse movie. So yeah, Patrick Stewart's there as Professor X. So I'm like, oh, cool. So now it's suddenly like pivots my expectations to where, oh, I guess this movie's also going to have crazy cameos too. So I guess that's kind of cool. I wasn't really ever expecting it. And I don't know, just visually, like it looks neat. I liked Doctor Strange 1 visually as well, but this looks a lot. Looks different. It looks like it's going for. It feels a lot more colorful to me, and definitely channeling its sort of Sam Raimi horror vibes. Not that I think it's going to be a scary film by any means, but just in terms of like some of the visual choices and designs and some of the locations, like all the wacky CG stuff, sort of feels, I don't know, sort of supernatural and stuff, which I quite like. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm sure we'll go see it. So I'm sure I'll enjoy it as well. I hope it's good. Jan, we had the Nope trailer. All I want from out of this is like some vague explanation as to what the movie actually is.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
Was there a 2-minute trailer that was released that I missed, and this is just another 30-second teaser?
I think so. What did you watch?
I watched a 30-second teaser, but has there already been a trailer?
I'm not sure. Hang on, let me check for you. Yeah, there is. There's a 2-minute trailer. Yep.
All right. Okay, so we probably should have watched that one and talked about that one, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. So, but you didn't get much from this one?
No. Well, I can't really gather much more from, the from what
poster.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
cool.
What are we doing? Liam, what's going on?
Can you tell us what it's about, and then I'll see if I can fill in any
still
gaps.
can't tell you what it's about though, because the trailer is super vague. Like,
oh, that's good.
This guy pulls people from it. This guy,
yeah, there was a bit of that in this one.
Yeah, that's all I can
pulls people from what?
I don't know, like it pulls people like.
It's like a storm.
People get pulled up into the sky. Yeah.
Is it like aggressive? Like, is it like a tornado, or are they like sort of just?
They just like aggressively, like a ghost pulls them up.
That's weird.
But also the story I think focuses on this this black family that was like, in Hollywood at an early time or something, and they're like own like a ranch. Yeah.
Oh, color me curious. That sounds very interesting. The Sonic the Hedgehog cinematic universe is expanding, everyone. Paramount has announced they're doing a third movie, of course. Mm-hmm. And a live-action series with Idris Elba as Knuckles is coming to Paramount Plus in 2023. Jane, is this going to make you get Paramount Plus?
Oh, yeah. This is a massive, win on the Paramount Plus front.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can only bring in more support. Idris, I'd love to see if it's just like Luther, but like looking like Knuckles. Like that'd be like the best thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's interesting that they're committing so much into this series already when it could be so because the first one was decent enough, but the way these films go and this style of film, the box office can be so volatile that I wouldn't be surprised if kind of drops everything. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I still have not seen it. I don't really care.
You don't need to see it. No,
no.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Did you see Sonic? Did you see it?
No.
No. Okay. Cool.
I saw the designs. That's all.
The new ones.
Two designs.
The better one. Yeah. I mean, I think they're cute. I saw the trailer for the second movie, and when I like how Knuckles and Tails and stuff look. I don't really give a shit about Sonic, but I was like, yeah, they look cool. I like that. I mean, can you imagine like what Knuckles would look like in that original aesthetic that they had before they changed it?
Nightmare fuel.
Oh yeah. No doubt. Jane, this one's for you. The Marvel Netflix shows are leaving Netflix. So what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? Will you watch Daredevil season 3? No.
When are they, like, how soon are they leaving?
I think in the next week or something. Pretty soon.
Ah, fuck. Yeah. I guess I'll bang out Daredevil then. I just won't care. It's an interesting choice. Like, why are they leaving Netflix when they are Netflix originals? Is it just because of licensing and like?
I think so. So I assume that it's going to Disney Plus, right? Like, I assume that's it. I don't know.
Would it? I mean, like,
it's confusing. Yeah.
I mean, they would have to bought those for quite a bit of money, and especially because like Daredevil has recently like re-entered like top 10 in like some streaming because of like the connections that it's made with with the Marvel Cinematic Universe because of these 2 new products. So like they would have to like I don't know. That's an interesting deal because like this is like a full-fledged original. 5 full-fledged originals that have been completed that are now being offloaded. That's really interesting.
Yeah, totally. I assume there's really interesting technicalities and legal stuff with it because, my understanding too, it's not like these are Marvel Studios produced things that then Netflix Netflix bought the rights to. These are Netflix shows. Like Netflix paid for these shows, I believe. So it's really weird and interesting. But I've just found here apparently they haven't indicated that they are coming to Disney Plus. I assume they will eventually. But
they're not going to be lost like in the middle of nowhere. So like they will have to go somewhere. But
they're not. It's not like it's not going to be an immediate switch or anything. Like there still haven't been anything official on where they're going. That's crazy. That's wild to me. But yeah, man. I mean, get on that Daredevil season 3 grind, I guess.
Yeah.
I will talk about with you, Jaden, just so we can collectively shake our heads about this BioShock Netflix movie.
It's like I've never been so disappointed in hearing about an adaptation. Like adaptation.
Adaptation?
Yeah, adaptation.
Is that adaptation? Sounds like
adaptation?
A word,
yeah, I don't know. Liam?
I'm pretty sure we've had this discussion before.
I think we have, yeah.
Yeah. Adaptation, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's adaptation, but adaptation sort of... Oh, no, it's just adaptation. Adaptation. Definitions of adaptation.
Adapt.
Because it's to adapt something, right?
So, vocabulary.com acknowledges adaptation, but then Google says, did you mean adaptation?
Interesting, that
adaptation is the process, right? Oh, no, but adaptation is also a process.
Yeah.
But a movie can be an adaptation.
But to adapt something is to be an adaptation, right? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm very scared. And like I said, like before, when I was telling you about this, like this has to be an incredibly expensive show if they're going to do it right. Because I don't want to see some shit CGI Arcadia. Like I want to see like impressive sets. I want a very lived in looking Art Deco underworld city. Unless they go like a different route and they want to do like a prequel type thing, but then like I don't know, and try and like explain some of the characters behind BioShock or some shit and do something weird. But I don't know if they want to tell the story of the first BioShock or the second BioShock. Yeah, this is very scary.
Yeah, I mean, you know a lot more about BioShock than I do, no doubt. But just from my limited experience, that feels like a story that, not everything needs to be adapted, right?
No.
Like, that is a story that feels so ingrained in it being a video game, in it being a interactive experience.
Yeah.
That you experience in first person,
how much of the story have you actually gone through? Sorry.
Oh, not much. Maybe like a quarter or something.
Because like later on, like the fact that it is a player-controlled character, it does become very important to the story. So seeing how that would be handled would be interesting. But like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't know that specifically, but just in what I do know is that, like, the first person perspective is vital to the way the story's told to you, you know, and the way you engage with the world. So it's and that it's non-traditional. Like, it hasn't got a plot. You know what I mean? It's not traditional character storytelling with all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So like the only way I could see this working is that if it's literally just like you take the name, you take the world or the ideas, and you just make something new with it. You know. You take like, oh, you can do something in like the locations in Rapture or whatever, but then just like, you know, try and do your own thing with it. Like, I can see that working if they do that, but yeah. It's a weird choice though.
I think like, I think the best thing they could do is like explaining the creation of the city.
Oh yeah,
because like I can't recall from the games a while ago when I played it, but like, is it not that like the founder, was he not like a criminal that like that had to hide away or some shit? Is that something? I can't recall.
Yeah. Well, he's like the main thing about it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Andrew Ryan, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I think he's like the main character, if that makes sense. Is my understanding.
If they were to like tell that story about like the runaway and like the building of Rapture and shit like that, I think it'd be. I think that could be done okay. But yeah, I think adapting the actual story from 1 or 2 would be.
We'll just get into our highlights of the week, I think. Liam, what have you been watching?
On Amazon. Rom-com I Want You Back, which has Charlie Day and
Luigi.
Luigi.
Sorry, I just he's playing Luigi.
Oh, is he? That's really funny.
Yeah.
Charlie Day and Scott Eastwood is also there. He's kind of the third main character. Yeah, he's really good. I mean, he's not really in. Whenever he's in the movie, he's not really in it much, but in this, he's actually like in it a bit. He's like the third main character, so yeah, good for him. But it's really funny. It's a really funny movie. Charlie Day is really funny. And good to see him in, you know, something that isn't Philadelphia. So I don't know. It's a really great rom-com. A lot of fun. Yeah, I'd recommend it.
Cool. Liam delving into the rom-com. I like it.
My favorite.
Jaden, what about you?
I guess I'll just quickly say I watched Encanto.
Oh yeah.
And what?
Encanto.
Okay.
did it sound a bit more vulgar when I first said it?
A little bit.
Dude, this has some of the worst songs I've ever heard in Disney. I actually think it is like these are genuinely like the worst songs in Disney, especially that opening song about the family is shit. The We Don't Talk About Bruno is shit. And then like I don't know, it's like some of the other ones that just happen throughout are just horrible songs. The world is pretty looking, I guess, but like I feel like, you know, I think there was once upon a time a stage where you could say, oh, the animation looks great and it's you know it has this style, but I feel like it's not really special anymore, and there's nothing unique or characteristic to the Pixar style, at least in this film. It just feels all very, very normal animation, I guess. It looks very pretty, but like there's nothing that makes it stand out as unique. You know, as opposed to like something like Soul that had like that, like those like 2D things, or like the underworld type thing that had like that, that kind of lighting type thing. Whereas this is all just very standard, you know, 3D animation. The story is very self-contained and very small for a Disney film, I guess. There's no grand adventure. It's all within one, you know, house, really, you know, like there's
within like 5 acres, like the whole thing.
Yeah, like there's a village that we see briefly, but like it's mostly in that one place, which is nice to see like a story on that scale, I guess. The characters I really don't give a shit about at all. Like none of them are memorable in any sense. But yeah, you know, like I gave it a 6, but it was a very reluctant 6.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Like there is merit to the film for sure, but like I think there is just a whole lot of averageness. But I can still recognize the quality that is within the product.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Clearly not what's his face? Lin-Manuel Miranda's music though.
Oh, did he do the music?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fuck him.
Oh, bro.
The songs were good. The songs were catchy.
No, they're not. That
Right.
like that when they that opening song about the family actually made me want to turn off the movie. Like in
Welcome
that,
to the family Madrigal.
yeah,
Oh, it's
All is
great.
fantastic. Go.
dude, I dead ass like 6 minutes in, I was like, I don't think I can do this. But I persisted because I'm
That's
a
great.
trooper.
That's
And yeah.
I love that. I can't do it.
And hearing what's his name, John Leguizamo, is that how you pronounce-
Leguizamo.
Leguizamo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hearing his voice took me out of it completely. Like
Oh, really?
he's just like, it's just his voice. I mean, I was
It's
like,
just him. It's just John
I
Leguizamo.
was like,
I love John Leguizamo.
but yeah, among Stephanie Beatrice is the lead, right?
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah, I think she did a good job on the voice work, especially compared to like yeah. So I think that's like a big credit. But then all the other like voice roles, I don't know these people, so I can't really say anything. So yeah,
Yeah, the cast was pretty low key, I think, except of course John Leguizamo.
yeah,
I forget. Remember when he was in John Wick? That was great.
yeah. I was like, is he here to give me a car? I was like,
Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess I'm doing Uncharted.
oh yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah, man. But I really enjoyed it. It's the way I keep thinking about it is that it feels like I'm typically not a fan of like the dumb action blockbuster in terms of like I don't know like a Red Notice or some shit like that. I haven't seen it, but you know what I mean. Like that as someone who doesn't know, like is not an expert in this genre of film or this category of product, I have a prejudice towards them and an understanding of what I think they are. Like, the Jumanjis of the world, the Red Notices of the world, that sort of thing. This is 100% that. No ifs or buts, but it felt like a version of that was for me. It's like make a high budget action film that's really silly, but has, I think, really solidly executed action sequences and like a charming dynamic in as your leads. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm down. And of course, like, loosely based on Uncharted. Loosely is the main thing. Like, this is not an adaptation. This is not like, and in that sense, like, it's all about expectations. My expectations for this film for the longest time have just been not expecting anything remotely dramatic or anything remotely, accurate or whatever. Like, I wanted to, as soon as that first image came out and me and Liam kept making fun of it, like from that moment onwards, like my expectations were in check. It's like, this is going to be a fun, hopefully a fun movie that sort of has a bit of an Uncharted skin. And for me, that's what it was. Like, it's definitely not great, but I enjoyed it as much as I think I ever could possibly have enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Like, there was no conceivable version of this film to me that's better than this. If that makes sense. That's not to say you can't make a better Uncharted film. I think you can, but in terms of what this film was going into it, like, my expectations were perfectly met. Like, I was very happy with it. So yeah, I think that sums it up. I really dislike Mark Wahlberg. I just like him a lot. Is he Sully? No, not at all. But I just liked him. I just like Mark Wahlberg, and Tom Holland I really liked as well. Did you like Tom Holland, Jane? He just continues to impress me. I don't know.
He was too Spider-Man. I don't know. I really think Spider-Man has ruined him. Like, he is just going to be like, whenever he takes on like a teen, like a role in this kind of version, he's always just going to be like that. Like, even in Chaos Walking, you could see remnants of Spider-Man.
Was he like awkward? Was he like awkward in the film? Like, did he play like an awkward character, or was he like?
He wasn't really awkward, but I think there was still mannerisms that you could see him carrying over. I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, to an extent, I feel like if he's playing young, charismatic dude with American accent, like, there's going to be crossover, Because
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, like that's why I'm keen to see what the Devil All the Time, because like that's a bit different from that role, right?
Hugely different. He's really good too.
Yeah, so I'm keen to see that and see how his performance, like how different it is in that. So like actually like judge his value as an actor.
That's
Yeah, no,
actually
totally.
that's
Yeah.
actually a good Tom Holland performance. I will admit that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think my thing with Tom Holland is that I think he's very good in everything. It's just sort of what he's in. You know what I mean? Like, I think he fulfills like everything he's in. He nails. It's just like he hasn't had a lot of opportunity other than Devil All the Time to sort of flex his muscles in
Actually,
ways that we sort of respect. You know?
Actually, he was he had a voice acting role in Lock. He was like a kid on a phone.
Yeah.
He was really good in that. As just like his son,
that's interesting.
as old mate's son. What's Tom
Hardy.
Tom Hardy's son? Yeah.
Didn't he also have an actual voice role in like an animated film, Spies in Disguise? But like, but then like his character in that is just like a teen character as well. That's like essentially Spider-Man anyway.
Yeah. And he was in Onward, of course.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Don't forget. Yeah. No, I really like Tom Holland in the movie. Is he like a perfect Drake, a perfect Nathan Drake? No, in terms of but this is all about the comparison game. Like that's not the game I was playing, you know? To me, he captured the spirit of what a young Nathan Drake could be. And that's high praise in my opinion. You know, like this isn't the Drake we know, but he feels familiar and he has that same confidence. Like, yeah, he's not awkward. You know what I mean? He is Nathan Drake in that way. Yeah.
Okay,
totally.
well, that's good.
Yeah. He has that same sort of confidence and I don't know, like he says, "Oh crap" a lot, so he nailed that part. That's all he had to say "Oh crap." That's actually the first line of the film. Spoiler alert: is "Oh crap," and from that, I was like, "Yeah, we're good. We got this." So yeah,
that's what you can feel Druckmann's producing the most.
That's right. So Neil Druckmann was on set and he was just like, I just think Tom should say, "Oh crap," a little bit more. Yeah, I think you're right, Neil.
Just goes back to Naughty Dog office after that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the score was kind of lame, but
yeah,
Ramin Djawadi, man, what are you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, when you saw his name in the credits, I was like,
It was like my exact same thing with Eternals too, where when I saw his name in the credits of that fit, I'm like, oh. It's like, well, Ramin, like, no offense, bro. Like, he's probably very aware of it. Like, I'm not trying to insult his work or anything. Like, he's probably very aware what he's doing and he's trying to cater to just the film itself and just not do anything exceedingly interesting. But to me in Uncharted, like, even more so than Eternals, like Eternals was fine, whatever. But for me in this film, it was like, man, when you got some of the most iconic video game music of all time, you know, maybe use it. Just saying. Just saying. It's really not that hard. Let's get into our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is your favourite movie set in LA, aka Los Angeles, if you haven't heard of it? Luke said, interesting question. I didn't know any off the top of my head, so look some of them up. From the small list Google provided. Now, by the way, I don't know about this. I feel like there's a lot, personally, but
sure.
I only really liked The Little Things. But to me, that doesn't really feel like an LA movie. I get it's literally set in LA, but the setting wasn't an important part of the story that it feels weird to consider it. Captain Marvel is definitely not my favourite movie set in LA. That's good. Thanks, Luke. The Little Things, hey? Is that your choice, Shannon? I thought it was going to be your choice, actually.
Yeah. I'm actually really disappointed that Spicky stole it from me. So.
Yeah. And he said, my favourite movie set in LA would have to be Michael Mann's Collateral, which I have recently watched, funnily enough. Not to mention your first ever film reviewed on this channel. Indeed, yeah, it was. I could have said Mann's other masterpiece, Heat, but I feel like it could be stealing the Peacemaker's answer, so I shall stick with Collateral. I do agree with Luke that most of the films set in LA can totally feel like it's not an LA movie, but in this case, I reckon Collateral 100% feels like an LA movie. I agree. The locations, Jamie Foxx's taxi driver character, and the way Mann films nighttime shots there definitely represents LA in this film. Although sadly, I can't remember seeing any hills while watching this movie, so it probably doesn't capture LA that well. I agree with your original assessment, Andy. I think it really does, personally. I think anything Michael Mann does is just LA. I feel like probably back in the day, I don't know, maybe Fitzy looks like he's getting ready to disagree with you, but I feel like back in the day, like when the studio was like, so Michael Mann, what are you gonna make for us this time? And he's just like LA, and they just get it, it's all right. It's still cool.
Just LA plus one adjective, and then like they're just sold.
Yeah. LA
LAX.
Robert De Niro, because Robert De Niro is an adjective.
Mm.
Anyway, Liam, is it Heat?
Yes, it is Heat.
Nice.
Good guess, Andy. Here's my Heat. Just with commentary.
Lovely. Commentary, cool.
Yeah, I actually rewatched it a week or two ago with some commentary, but then I had to turn it off because I was just too invested in the movie, So I had it Michael Mann's subtitles on the bottom, like David Fincher. Oh, not David Fincher, Ridley Scott, Fairly.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Heat. I love Heat. I thought it was great when I first watched it, then I kind of just rewatched it. Loved it even more. Yeah, I think it's like it's just the best action film, It's just amazing. Just the ultimate Robert De Niro, Al Pacino face-off, and the way LA is shot in Heat as well is very specific, like Collateral. Like, I feel like Michael Mann kind of hates LA the way he shoots it. Like, it's very empty. It's very dead. And in Heat, it's very, like, there's a lot of, like, dead, like, steel and, mist and everything. It's very, like, ephemeral. It's very, like, specific. But, no, yeah, I love Heat. Heat's best.
I was thinking about suggesting it for this show soon, actually, because I do want to rewatch it, and I feel like it would be a good discussion, actually.
I actually want to rewatch it again because without the commentary, because I had the commentary for a bit, so I was like, okay, let me just get a full rewatch without commentary. But Michael Mann is a genius, by the way. His the things he said about the film, it's like he just has so much knowledge about the West Coast prison system and stuff like that. And the way that like changes men and just he's a very smart guy.
That's super interesting. Keep it in mind when you do your rewatch. We might time it up with just doing an episode on it, maybe. Jen, what about you?
What about you, Zach?
Oh, all right.
Why don't you go second for once?
Mine's The Guilty. No, it's not. No, I like The Guilty. I didn't mean to shit on that movie, but no, it's probably Blade Runner 2049. When Jane and I were texting, and I was reminded, I guess that counts, and I was very happy because I think it is. But yeah, there's a lot of good choices. It's crazy. Like now that I say that, I've blanked on them, literally all of them. But I was thinking about it earlier, and I kept thinking of things, and I was like, what the hell? It's crazy. Like everything's set in LA. But yeah, no, it's probably Blade Runner 2049. Not Blade Runner 1. No. Just no. But yeah. Jay, are you looking at a list right now? Are there, I feel, I'm blanking on... Oh, you're not? Okay. What is your choice? I feel dumb. Like, I've thought of so many, and then I've forgotten them all right now.
Well, my choice is a Russell Crowe film, actually. And it's The Nice Guys.
Good one.
With Ryan Gosling. I love this film so much. It's hilarious. I don't know. It's got a great story. Angourie Rice features Angourie, right? And the little Australian girl. I say little, but she's probably like 2 years older than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in it as well. She's great for like a child actor.
Margaret Qualley or whatever her name is.
Is she in it? Oh.
Yeah, isn't she? I think she is.
Oh, she's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is an LA movie.
Good one.
Is she in it?
Yeah, I think she is.
Right, her?
Margaret Qualley.
Oh, yeah.
Qualley?
She's the surgeon.
Oh, yeah, she is too. She is, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, I love it, and like it is an LA film, and that like the the porn industry in LA is like the main thing, and like a lot of like the locations are just distinctly LA. Not to say it can't be translated to another city, but the script does use LA to its advantage. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Oh my god, there's so many I haven't like. Wrath of Man. Drive.
He's right the man, LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Den of Thieves, Molly's Game. These are movies I've seen. Molly's Game, yes, bloody never ends here. Oh, San Andreas, of course.
Actually, you're saying that. Everyone, I saw someone describe Uncharted as the perfect movie where The Rock shows up at the end, and that just goes like with what you were saying about like. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, one of my weird things with Uncharted that we talked about was like the way the post-credit scenes were just really weird to me. I didn't really get them, but dude, if they'd committed to The Rock was there at the end, I would have just been like, yeah, cool, I believe this. Nocturnal Animals as well.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Marriage Story. Wow, yeah, no, there's plenty. There's plenty. It's crazy. All right. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comments section. Send us a DM on Instagram. Get on the Discord. But this week we're asking you, what is your favourite movie or TV, whatever you want, favourite media, spaceship? Let us know. That's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Liam, what are we doing next week?
We're continuing our Alien franchise reviews with Aliens.
Aliens.
Multiple, plural, Alien.
What's that on? Oh, Disney Plus, right? Cool. I did half your job there for you, just so you know.
Thank you.
That's okay. All right. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you guys for joining me as always. We'll see the rest of you next week, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully this one blows up like Train to Busan. We'll see. And we'll see you next time. Take care and goodbye.